waiting for some people to leave. I got another trick up my sleeve. Step with pep to the back of the house, looked in. All the lights are out. Grab the door and it's locked so easily made my way to the window. Lift it up slow, doesn't take time in. The hurt so nobody move, nobody get hurt. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. Nobody move, nobody get hurt. Nobody...
Whoa, 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 whoa. Nobody called the police. It's just Twofer. Did I trick you? You couldn't see me, could you? All right. Well, it's officially happening. Episode 1 is on the way. I decided to dress in full camo for this one, baby. Whoop, whoop. All right. You know what it's all about? It's all about that dog life. All right. So, first of all, I have an announcement. Having a little fun for my intro there on episode 1. Episode 1 is about guns and ammo. So having a little fun there, sneaking to the window and looked in. All the lights were out. Classic Eazy-E. So these are no jokes. These guns are no jokes. So let's start off by saying that this is not nothing to play around with. You definitely need to get that gun safety, but so first up is Shotty Too Hottie. I want you to say hello to my little friend. You know what it's about. So this is my 12 gauge Remington. Oh, get it all in there. Oh yeah, you need the whole thing. You need the whole thing. There it is. There it is. All right, this is my 12 gauge shotgun. So first of all, gauges. Gauge. Now I could bore you. It's basically a math lesson. I could bore you with a 10-minute math lesson, but I'm just going to say, smaller the gauge, the bigger the balls. Okay, the bigger the BBs. Okay, bigger balls to hang on to it, because the 12 gauge is going to get, it's going to kick back more than a 20 gauge too. So it's got more power. It's got bigger BBs, or the balls I'm referring to, by the way. It's got bigger BBs, 12 gauge. So the first thing is gauge. The most common is 12 and 20. Those are the most common, 12 and 20. There's different types, 16 goes all the way up to 28. So the 28 gauge is going to be really tiny BBs, or shot, or balls, whatever you want to call them. And the 12 gauge is going to be more powerful. So if I were getting into this would be the first gun I'd buy. I've had more success with a shotgun because as a beginner, you have 100 chances to hit the animal with those BBs. Woo! Versus one shot with a bullet. Okay. So as far as shot, the actual shot, it has, so again, 12 gauge are going to be bigger than 28 gauge, but then when you're talking about the shot, they're all it's the same. On one end is a buckshot, so imagine how big it has to be to take down a buck. It's the BBs have to be pretty big. I don't have a buckshot. I do have a so it goes from buckshot all the way to 9. Okay, so I have a 2, so the lower the number, the bigger the balls. I have a 2. Let me clarify that. When I say bigger the balls, a 12 gauge 2 shot is going to be bigger than a 28 gauge 2 shot, because a 28 gauge is going to take more balls, or more tinier balls. It's going to take more to get there. So these are bigger balls. Maybe a good time to put in, we got big balls, but we got the biggest. Anyway, okay. So this is 2 shot for duck. This is my duck shot. And then it goes to pheasant. Where'd my pheasant go? Who took my pheasant? All right, here's my pheasant. Pheasant is no, that's not pheasant. Oh yeah, this is my pheasant. Pheasant is 5 shot. So 5 shot, the balls are a little bit smaller for the pheasant, because guess what? Oh, a pheasant's smaller than a goose, and so you probably need something smaller to kill. Okay, and then they don't technically, as far as I know, they don't technically have small game shot. What you use for small game is what is same thing you use for target practice. And when I say target practice, it would be the what are the flippy fly disc things? Come on, it's right there. It's right there. Flippy fly discs. You say it with me because you know trap shooting. There it is, trap shooting. So this is a trap shot, and that's the same thing I would use for small game rabbits and squirrels, even though I don't really do that. So anyways, what else we have? Another thing with a shotgun is you're going to need to have a choke. Da, 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 da. I see you. Okay. The reason why you need a choke, think about a shotgun. As the shot is projected out, the reason why sawed-off shotguns are illegal, because when you saw off the shotgun, the spread's coming out. It's a great defense mechanism for at home, but it's not legal because it's not worth anything for hunting. So on one end would be a sawed-off shotgun. That stuff is spraying everywhere. If you were looking at a bullseye at 10 yards, it wouldn't hit the bullseye much, okay? And then at the very far end, on the 180 from that, is a turkey. They might make chokes. Some people are like, actually, they make a choke that I don't, okay. For me, what I have is a turkey choke, and so that's the most choke I have. So think about a choke, right? You're choking someone, so you're going to get your spread in a smaller diameter. So you screw this on, and you make sure you lube this baby up too, because Corey had a shotgun that he had stored for about 10 years, and he had his choke in there and it rusted. So make sure you lube that baby up. But anyways, you put that in there, you screw it on. And what that's for is like a turkey, more like is going to be further away, because you'll scare a turkey. It's hard to sneak up on a turkey. So you have to shoot it at more of a distance. So therefore you want that grouping tighter, so it travels further. And then last on a shotgun are the sights. I currently have I left my turkey sights on. Here you go. Ready? I left my turkey sights on. Can you see that? I got you lined up there. Okay. So I got my turkey sights, and it worked just great for ducks. So it's a nice big old one. And then you just put the bead between the two beads, the front and back, and then you know you're going to shoot where you want to shoot. So anyway, that's all for my shotgun. Woo-hoo! Is my gun, that a version of the gun that won the Revolutionary War, baby, a musket loader. So pop that. So I have what's called a brake. Okay, this is it just breaks right there, right? So a musket loader is actually not a rifle or a gun, it's a cannon. Yeah. You'll learn something today. Cannon. So basically what you have to do, and by the way, if you get the reason why Corey and I decided to get into muzzle loading, musket, muzzle, whatever, is because there's a whole different season for deer. In Washington, you get to go, well, it's not first, it's the first gun cannon besides archery. So it goes archery and then muzzle loading, then what they call modern firearms, okay? So we decided, hey, it might be a good idea to go out there when there's not 1,000 idiots that are drunk shooting guns. A good idea. So we got muzzle loaders. It was a good idea in theory. This is not an easy gun to use, to clean, to prep, to sight. It's very difficult. So let me show you. In modern fire, you have a bullet. This happens to be, what is this? This is my 30-30. So it has everything. It's got the primer cap, it's got the gunpowder, it's got the bullet, all in one thing, okay? So in a muzzle loader, you have to put the cap on, okay? So there's the first issue I had, is that I didn't have caps that worked very well. Corey's like, hey, make sure you get the Northwest edition. And my Northwest edition had Okay, so this is the breech plug. Let me pull this baby out. Okay, there's like 8,000 things for a muzzle loader. So this breech plug right there, let me show you the side profile. It's kind of sexy. Okay, so that right there is what you put your cap on. Well, Washington, for some reason, some genius thought it'd be a good idea to not allow shotgun. I believe it's 209. Maybe I should have done my research before I did the video. But a primer with 209 is called burns hot. Burns hot means when this cap goes off. And yes, this is the exact same thing that you could buy at the dollar store for a cap gun. Okay, so you need to put the cap on the little, it's called the nipple. I didn't make that up, just for laughs. You put it on the nipple, okay? And then you close it. I don't want to actually do all this now since I'm inside. Come on, baby, get off the nipple. I've never said that before. Okay, so you put the cap on the nipple. Then you have to put the gunpowder. By the way, I learned the hard way. You want to get this white stuff because it burns clean. It's called, I believe it's called burn clean. I don't know. I should have more information, but maybe that's when you start paying for these. I'll give you more information. So you put that in. You put that in. Then you put the bullet. Now look at this bullet. The bullet is not. And by the way, you want to get like cheap little fishing lure things because I have a whole bag just for my muzzle loading. Right, I have it has specific cleaning crap. It's got this ramrod holder, and for my ramrod, I'm almost ready to show you the ramrod. And then I have to buy an extender. Corey has an extender, but it's not for his guns. And I got an extender. So I don't know if you just missed me, but I put this gold thing on. I had to buy that separately. And then what side does this go on? See, I'm still learning. Goes on this side. So you put the bullet in, and look at this. Look how big this bullet is. Now, some of you might be thinking, and I thought the same thing, so don't worry if you feel stupid. This bullet is actually more powerful than this bullet. So what you need to look at is not the length. Okay, it's not all about the length, okay? It's more about how you use it. So if you go up here and you just look at the tip, okay, look at the tip, that's the bullet. And I cover up the green part, and look at that. Look how much meatier this one is here, okay? So this is a 50 cal bullet. That would put a hole in an animal. We're basically gonna be hunting deer with our muzzle loader, okay? So you have to put the bullet in here after you put the gunpowder in, and then you take your ramrod, just like they would do it back in the Revolutionary War, and you'd be going, and what you do is you figure out when it actually is in all the way down in position, and you put like a little you can put like a little etching, a little piece of tape. Etching's better because it's permanent, so you know how far to jam it in. That's always a good thing. You don't want to jam it in too far. So see what else we have for muzzle loading. So it's a pain in the ass. I see this sight right here. This sight right there, let me get up closer, okay? So Corey and I were gonna go muzzle loading deer hunting when the deer season, and we're gonna, like all smart hunters, you go sight in your gun beforehand. And my sight, the old original sight like falls off. Spent like 20 minutes, where'd it go? Where'd it go? I couldn't find it. So I drove 2 hours the day before we're leaving on our trip. I spent 2 hours driving to get a new sight, and then 2 hours back, so 4 hours total, because the Cabela's and Sportsman Warehouse do not have a lot of muzzle loading supplies. Let me tell you that right now. So I had to drive to a specialist store to get a sight for my gun, because you are not going to go shoot something if you haven't, because I thought I could put like a little like a tack or something on top of when this was missing to ink, because I had the front sight and that did not work. I couldn't even hit the target at 50 yards. It was bad. So not only did I have to drive 4 hours to get that back sight, I had to then look to some place because the shooting range that we go to was not open until noon, but we wanted to leave at 9 a.m. So I found a place in Quincy, Washington. Let me give a shout out to Quincy, Washington, baby. I'm an official gun club member of Quincy, Washington. So I paid $50 to go take a couple shots to the side of my rifle, to the side of my muzzle loader. And all for no deer. That's always nice. Anyways, muzzle loading. Is it worth it? The jury's still out. Okay. Corey has a man crush on Steve Rinella from the Meat Eater. So of course we had to get the Meat Eater edition 308. See that? Giving a shout out to our boy. Whoops. Sorry, Stevie. Giving a shout out to our boy. You owe me some money for that, Steve. So anyway, I got a scope. What do I got? I got a Vortex scope, baby. Vortex. So this is my prized possession. This is the one that costs the most. This is a high power rifle. This is the bullet right here. Okay, it's a 308. They measured it from the diameter of the bullet right here, straight across the middle would be your diameter. So 0.308. So they call it a 308. And if you've never seen a rifle before, this is bolt action. So you're going to put your bullet right in there. Okay, one at a time. You're going to put your bullet in there. Boom. And see ya. So this would be, of course, this is the Meaty. This gun's called the Meaty. Now, this is my first love. This is my first love. This is Henry. This is a Henry 3030. Let me show you the bullet. So if you notice that it has a rounded tip. Whoops. There we go. Rounded tip. Okay. Now, if it had the reason why it has a rounded tip, because you can put more in one bullet. You slide this little mechanism. You turn it and pull it up. And if you notice right there, see the red thing? So you put your bullet in, and it's got multiple bullets. Well, I learned something the hard way. This is my 308. It's more like a tip. It's more pointed, I meant. And this is rounded. Well, these things in the little chamber are like this, stacked upon each other. So you don't want something pointy trying to hit the trigger mechanism. That's no bueno. So one huge recommendation, when you buy some ammo, and it says 308, so mine, I don't know where my 3030 is, but mine said 3030, right? So, you're good to go. So what did I do? Pulled out my 3030, put it in my gun, started shooting, it jammed. I'm like, excuse me, and this is when I was really green, and the gun, what do they call it? Gun range master, I believe, came over and was inspecting it. He's like, oh my God, stop, everybody hit the floor. So I put a non-3030 in my gun because it said 3030. So the moral of the story is check your ammo box. What it says on the outside might not be what is on the inside. I learned that the hard way. There you go. That's the biggest lesson you learn from this episode. That sucked. But anyway, my 3030, I call this my classic. This is Henry. His official name is Henry. This is your classic lever action rifle. Okay. This bullet has killed more animals than any bullet known to mankind. 3030. This is your classic cowboy rifle. Okay. And so great story about so this is the first gun. So Corey and I are like, hey, let's be hunters. Okay, what do hunters need? Let's get a gun. What should we get? Oh, all hunters need a rifle. So let's get a rifle. What kind of rifle should we get? Oh, those classic Henrys. Those are, and by the way, it is a great gun. I even have a really nice leather strap holder, shoulder harness. And So we get this gun, and we're going to go to the infamous island, the island that I'm not going to talk about to the finale. And we're going to go shoot this species of animal, this secret species that I'm not going to tell you about. So we get on our trip, and one of the relatives of the island tells us, oh, they don't want any rifles on the island. Okay, you have to understand, rifles travel miles. Shotgun shells travel yards and then peter off. But because of the reason why it's called a rifle is it's grooved in the barrel inside here. You can't see it, but it's grooved. So it sends it like a football, and it spirals, and it can go over a mile plus. So obviously on an island, that's dangerous because the island is barely a mile itself, or I don't know what it is, but you know what I'm saying. So they're like, you only get to use shotguns. So here I am with my Henry, all excited to take down some animals with my Henry. And they're like, oh yeah, you can't use that. Here's a 20 gauge shotgun. I'm like, what? So obviously I didn't shoot anything. Well, that's not true. You have to wait for the finale for that one. I love you, Henry. All right. This one is my handgun. No, okay. So I'm not, I gotta be careful here. So, because I gave up judgmental ideas a long time ago. So I have no trouble if people like handguns or doesn't like handguns. I don't care. If you want it, get it. I got this for protection in the woods. I don't have this under my pillow. I don't have it in my glove box. Okay. I got this protection in the woods because I'm hunting where there's bears and cougars. And sometimes the rifle ain't as easy to whip around and aim and shoot. You need your handgun. So I actually learned something here. And I bet you a lot of people watching this don't know this. This is a single action handgun. For some of you that are laughing at me, why would you get that? Well, first of all, it's a Colt 44 long. Okay, that's a beast. So here is my bullet. Boom. It's a nice thick slug. So there's my bullet. It would definitely stop a black bear. We don't have grizzlies here. Grizzlies are a different ball game. They're but it would definitely stop a black bear and a cougar. Okay, so single action. What's a single action? So when you pull the trigger, okay, actually you have to pull the hammer. There's no bullets in here, Mom, don't worry. You have to pull the hammer before and then shoot it, and then to shoot it again, you have to pull the hammer again. Well, then the technology above of that would be what most guns are, is every time you pull the trigger, it pulls the hammer itself and shoots. So that's double action. So it is a cool gun. It is a bird handle, and this is the same gun Billy the Kid used. Not the actual gun, but the same style. Obviously, it'd be worth more than I could afford. But the reason why I didn't get a double action, which makes more sense if I'm out in the woods, is because if anybody tried to get a gun in 2020, you realize you took what you got. And this was the best thing I could find. And I might do another episode. Handguns are completely different as far as registering than rifles and guns. So this is the most restricted for obvious reasons. The least restrictive was my muzzleloader that came to my front door. And if you don't know, if you've never bought a gun, you have to go to the gun place and you basically have to give away your firstborn. The information is like buying a house. There's like 800 different things. So you have to go through a federal gun check. Now, I agree with that. Don't get me wrong. It's just not a simple process. Okay. Okay. Anyway, there's my revolver. So that's it. Episode 1, baby. Make sure you subscribe. If you haven't, right here, click. That's it. Subscribe, like, and here's a sneak peek for episode 2. All right. Peace out. Oh, you know what it's all about? It's all about that dog life. Oh, life is rough. My reading area, I put my feet up here. I got Birdie for protection, and let me